And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Oh, hi. Okay, guess we should talk about something. Kind of tough to be put on the spot. Not sure what to say. But I know what I'm definitely not talking about. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big!
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
And now it is the Sunday world-famous tailgate party, the Grandmaster. That's me, Joe Duffy. I'm sorry, folks, if you're not making a bloody fortune with your bookmaker, do not dare come bitching to me. All I do is win, and especially since our new discovery, you notice we've been doing a lot more totals the past couple weeks. We essentially discovered a formula and said, look, if this formula works in one sport, it should work in all sports, and it has. Promises exceeded. 31 years of winning, and yes, I'm better than ever, thanks to the fact that we just continue to discover more and more angles in our gambling and handicapping labs. 837 and 666 overall, 100 wins, 60 losses in football, 11 and 5 overall yesterday. 2 NFL Wise Guy plays, 6 majors, 2 NBA Wise Guy plays. You've got the biggest college basketball bet of the season so far. Of course, I'm sure it will be exceeded and matched a few times. Promises made, promises delivered. OffshoreInsiders.com, Joe Duffy's Picks, where you also get the most thoroughly vetted sports books as well. Let's take a look at some sharp action for today. Where should you start? Why don't we go with the most, who is the public betting on today? The biggest consensus plays based on the number of bets. New England at 82%. Chargers at 80, Atlanta 78, Green Bay 77. Now in terms of money, the percentage of money, Seattle's got 81% of the money on them. Green Bay at 78, New England at 76. The sharp money today is on Cleveland, Tennessee, and Cincinnati. That's our pros versus Joes, sharp versus squares metrics. Now let's give you all the same information for totals. Really, when it comes to the totals, not super lopsided. New Orleans is the strongest consensus play in terms of number of bets, percentage of bets, 68%. The money, though, is a little more overwhelming. These are the biggest sportsbook liabilities. The sportsbooks are rooting for the other side. New England over 88% of the bets. Atlanta over 82% of the bets. Oakland under at 80. And there really is no overwhelming sharp versus square, pros versus Joes when it comes to totals today. In the NBA, the really not that much as far as an overwhelming consensus when it comes to sides. Totals, though, Denver, when it comes to money bet, 94% of the money 94% of the money is on Denver, 85% on Detroit. Totals. Again, nothing overwhelming when it comes to the number of tickets written, but when it comes to the money, LA Lakers under at 96%, 94% of the money on Portland under, 91 on Detroit under. And we'll take a quick look at college basketball. As nothing, let's look at the sides. The totals, not really enough money to have a strong consensus. Nothing overwhelming when it comes to a consensus based on the number of bets, but the amount of money. 98% of the money bet so far is on Southern Miss. 93% on Virginia. 88% on USC. Biggest line moves today in the NFL. Chicago opened up at 3.5 over Detroit. They're now laying 7. Atlanta opened up as a 2.5-point favorite to Cleveland. They're now laying 6. Green Bay opened up laying 7 to Green Bay opened up laying 7 to Miami. They're now up to 10. And one of some significance. Cincinnati opened up. New Orleans opened up laying 3.5 to Cincinnati. They're now laying 6. Some key injuries for today, and we're also going to have an NFL free pick coming up in a moment. For Philadelphia for tonight, running back Darren Sproles is going to be out. And why don't you check, by the way, offshoreinsiders.com, the master lock line with a massive side and total for Sunday night football. Browns tight end David Njoku is expected to play. Cornerback Denzel Ward will also likely play for them. Running back Kerryon Johnson is now listed as probable for Detroit. Colts wide receiver Ryan Grant is expected to play. Now this will hurt. Kansas City certainly has plenty of weapons, but one of their better ones, Sammy Watkins, wide receiver, is now listed as doubtful. And New England expected to get running back Sony Michel back in the lineup. Some ATS trend. Why don't we give you your free pick? Why don't we give you your free pick from the Grandmaster? Me, Joe Duffy. Your free winning pick for today. We're going to go with Miami plus the 10 against Green Bay. We do have a road anti-splits angle. That's 148 and 109. Again, what our anti-splits basically says is one of the biggest mistakes that square gamble, even some decent handicappers, they'll try to find teams that are much better on the road than they are at home, and they'll say, okay, we'll bet that team at home, bet against them on the road. Except that does not actually win. In fact, there's a regression to the mean normally where such teams like that will be bet against at home, and then they'll be pretty good on the road. So they'll improve on the road, and they won't really be able to maintain what they're doing at home. A road anti-splits angle is 148 and 109. That favors Miami against Green Bay. Once again, Miami against Green Bay. Some trends for you. San Francisco has gone over 17-2 off a home game in which fewer than 31% of their opponents' first downs came on third down. Kansas City has gone under 32-10 as a home favorite. The Chargers are 0-11. Of course, this is ATS as a favorite against a divisional opponent off a game as a dog in which they lost by less than a touchdown, and they had at least 2 fewer minutes of possession time than their season-to-date average. Buffalo is 13-1, getting 7 or more points when they lost and failed to cover in their previous game. San Francisco 1-12-2 as a home favorite. Some NBA line moves for tonight. Actually, nothing really of significance. College basketball, not really a big line move. Central Florida opened up as a 20-point favorite to Florida Atlantic. They're now laying at 22. Who have been the best teams to bet on this year in the NFL based on the ATS percentage, or the ATS margin, or some people like to call it the sweat barometer? Probably won't surprise you. Kansas City is 8-1 this year, covering by an average of 8.6 points per game. Chicago 5-3, covering by an average of 6.2. Pittsburgh, of course, already in this week, 6-3 plus 5.2. Seattle 4-3-1 plus 5.2. The best teams to bet against: Oakland 2-6, failing to cover by an average of 11 points per game. That is far and away the worst in the NFL. Next is Jacksonville 3-5 by minus 6.8. Now here's why ATS records can be a little deceptive. Arizona is actually covering this year 4-3-1. But if you do believe in ATS trends, it doesn't necessarily mean they're a good team to bet against. It's very deceptive. They're actually failing to cover by an average of 6.5 points per game. Buffalo 3-6 minus 6.4. Who have been the best over and under teams? Tampa Bay is going over 7-1 by an average of 10.8 points per game. New Orleans is split 4-4, but they're still going over by an average of 9.9 points per game. So that's why that record is deceptive. Kansas City over 5-3-1 by an average of 8.7. Both Indianapolis and Cincinnati have gone over at a 5-3 rate, and that is by an average of 7.9 in both cases. Tennessee's been the best under team. In fact, each of these first 3 teams have gone under at a 5-3 rate. Tennessee minus 7.3, so they're going under by an average of 7.3. Jacksonville going under by an average of 4.7. Washington, an average of 4. And that would be it as far as the biggest under teams, the most overwhelming under teams. Remember, offshoreinsiders.com is not only the place to go for the best sports handicapping plays, including the Master Lock line, which goes back to 1980. including Joe Duffy. I go back to 1988 on the score phones, and then Stevie Vincent back on the old free scoreboard days in the early 2000s. Proven longtime winners at offshoreinsiders.com. But again, we're brought to you by a generous grant from mybookie.ag. If you want the biggest sign-up bonus, they allow 100% sign-up bonus. Deposit $1,000. You have $2,000 to bet with immediately. Use that promo code of Duffy, D-U-F-F-Y. I kid you not. You're a small player. You haven't bet online. You're a little nervous. It's okay. Just deposit $100. You'll have $200 to bet with tonight. And one of the things, I always give the personal testimonies. As I keep saying, I'm really a degenerate handicapper, not a degenerate gambler, but I've got nothing but rave reviews about their online casino as well. Live dealers, if you play poker, if you play blackjack. I've played a little bit of blackjack online, mostly during the summer there. Very easy to navigate. Even if you're not computer savvy, no problem. You need someone to hold your hands? Don't worry. They do have customer service available 24/7 if you're really scared of technology, all that. Not a problem. Somebody is there to help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. MyBookie.ag, promo code Duffy, D-U-F-F-Y.
If you're looking for a fresh start, why not start with cleaner floors? Now at Lowe's, get a Samsung Jet 70 cordless stick vacuum with a turbo action brush and a rechargeable battery that can be swapped for a spare for uninterrupted cleaning power. It's the perfect handheld tool for cleaning up all that dust, hair, and debris to keep your floors looking remarkably clean. Come into Lowe's, shop at Lowe's.com, or use our app for contactless curbside pickup. Spare batteries sold separately, U.S. only.